On today's video, we're taking a look at a little tiny device that I think packs a massive feature set. This is the Garmin G20. It's a handheld GPS with a solar battery that will last you a lifetime. We're gonna take it out here on course for 3 holes of golf here at Carrollwood Country Club. I'm gonna try to go even par, do my best at least, and we're gonna explore the feature set here inside the G20 first. Let's go ahead and unbox this. All right, here we go. So just like all Garmin boxes, if you've seen one, you've seen them all basically. Let's take a look at what's inside here. So there's the unit. Wow, it's even smaller than my G80. In fact, I got the G80 right here so you can see it's a little bit more diminutive. This is actually plastic on here that we're gonna rip off. That's the device, and the solar cells are right there on top. So very, very cool. A little heavier too, I'd say, than the G80. Just maybe the same weight, but it feels, you know, like it's got a little bit more mass because it's smaller overall in terms of profile. Underneath here, we've got a magnetic clip, so you can put this on your belt. And there's a magnet here on the back of the unit, so we can just attach it there. You can also put this on your cart as well. It's probably where I'll keep mine. And then inside we've got a couple more things. We've got USB-C charging cable and a couple of manuals, but I'm gonna be your manual here for today, so let's get it out on course and put it to work. All right, so we are at the first tee here, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit play golf. So we're gonna wait for the GPS. Now, I know this is a spot on the course where sometimes it takes a few minutes to grab onto a satellite, but let's see how much time it takes here. It wasn't too bad. Well, it's actually not there yet. It's telling us that we wanna be in a clear area. I am in a clear area actually, but tell you what, that wasn't too bad in terms of time. You know, I showed you that in real time. I didn't cut away. Not too bad at all. So we're gonna be playing Cypress, and again, all of the controls here are up and down. It's not a touch screen, it's all button based. You'll be using these buttons to navigate. We're gonna be playing Cypress to Meadow today, and I'm gonna hit the OK button there, that big orange button or red button. It's kind of in between there on the side. We're gonna choose our white tees that I'm playing. And you can see I've got my distance there to the middle of the green, which is 350 or 349, just updated. If I scroll down there, I've got distance to the front and back. So I've got 335 to the front, 366 to the back. You can now continue to scroll and see some different features here of the course. I've got a bunker that is green side up there on the left, so I don't have to worry about that too much. If I want to lay up to 100 yards, I need to hit a 250 shot, which makes sense, 350. Got to hit 250 to get to 100, and you've got different layup options there. And if you continue to scroll through, you'll see all of the other elements here on course. That's the water on the right, 107. Shouldn't be in play, but there is water all along the left. I do want to make sure we miss. All right, here we go. First shot, let's do it. I was waiting to say anything because I was flirting there with the left side, but I think I'm maybe on the cart path or just in the rough over there. Good shot. So let me show you some other features here of the G20. It's such a cool little device. Now, can it replace my G80? That's to be determined, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. Now, with this, you'll be able to do a host of things. You can actually keep score. You can track shots if this was attached to your belt, but for right now, I'm gonna use the magnet. Now, you've got wind direction if you hook it up to the app. You can also hook this up to your Garmin Z30 rangefinder, and that rangefinder, once you hit the flag, will give you accurate distances on this device, just like it does on the watches. So the Garmin universe continues to amaze me. They're doing an amazing job. So since I'm in a cart here today, I think this is how I would use it personally. I would keep it just attached to hopefully the little magnetic area here. It kind of works like an in-cart GPS. So if you play at a course that doesn't have the nice screen and all the fancy electronics up there, that would be a really good way to improve your game and actually have it with you at all times. So I don't even need to get out with this device. It's telling me I've got 111. I happen to be right next to the cart path. So that worked out perfectly, not a long walk. So you can see here, the bunker is now in play. I've got 83 yards to get in it, 92 to clear it. So if we bounce into the main menu here, of course we can change holes, but we can also move flags. So if I'm not hooked up to that Garmin rangefinder and I really want to get accurate, as close as possible distances, we can then pull up the map of this green, and actually there's a few points to set where this flag might be. To me, it looks right there, which is middle right side, and I'll hit OK, and we'll see how that changes our distance. It doesn't change it much, so we have 111 still to that flag, and I'm gonna fire away here. I got very lucky that that ball held up. I was nervous the whole way it was in the air, but it's actually a fantastic angle over here. Just gotta hit the distance now, which I didn't. I'm gonna be short, so I'll be chipping up. Actually kind of pushed that off that lie. Now, one thing I gotta mention, because I really feel like I could use this a lot, but I'd be really worried just like I leave rangefinders up here, that I'd leave this because it's black, it blends into this. There's not a lot of contrast. It would be nice, again, if Garmin maybe had this as a bright orange color, like the color of that button right there would have been perfect, or even white I think would have been better. So again, just maybe a little design tweak I would make for this, but it's definitely very cool that you can stick it up there. I almost went in the other water over here. That was a pretty poor shot. Let's see if we can make up for it. It's gonna be tough up and down. That pin is short-sighted here. Good enough? I'll take it. I'm below the hole at least. That was a difficult shot to keep below the hole. These greens are not going to do me any favors either because they're punched today. So we'll just do our best. Oh, the punch greens got me, I think. So it's a bogey. Now there's a really cool scorekeeping function here with the G20, so let me show you that one. All right, so the scorekeeping function can be found if we hit this OK button. We're going to go down to start scoring. I'm going to hit OK. And of course, I did start on hole 1, but you could change holes if you needed to, just by again pressing those buttons. We'll hit OK here again on hole 1. It's going to ask us how many strokes we took. Unfortunately, I took 5. But again, up and down, if I had a birdie, I could go down. I unfortunately have to go up there. I'm going to hit OK, and live scoring is now on. So anytime I'm using a Garmin device, you could actually check out the Garmin app and see how I'm doing if you cared, which I don't think anyone cares that much, but you could do it. It would be nice, I guess, if you're in a tournament or if you just want to track your friend over at Bandon Dunes or in some amazing part of the world. Could be a cool way to just keep up with what they're doing. As you can see, we've got a par 5 here next. It's 524. Hopefully we'll try to get that stroke back, and I'll show you a few more features packed inside this G20. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really good. Now, I like it on the cart personally, but you've got the option if you wanted to put it on your belt. It comes with that belt clip we saw. So as my cameraman Sean recommended, I think left side's probably the place to have it, but there's a magnet built into this and literally you could keep it right there, or even turn it towards you is probably a better idea, right? That way you can kind of look down at it and see where you're at. But different ways to use this device. Cool that they've thought of really everything here. All right, so if you hook this G20 up to your Garmin app, you're gonna get some extra functionality. So I highly recommend you do that. It's very easy to pair this via Bluetooth once you set up the device. Again, we're gonna hit that OK button and we're gonna get a very handy feature. It's the wind feature. Now this comes off the weather service, but you can see I've got a little wind kind of behind me, and this is gonna be depending on how this device is oriented, but it's behind me and pushing a little right to left. There's not a ton of wind down here that I can feel, so again, you've always got to sort of take this with a grain of salt, but it could give you an idea of what's going on out there and maybe give you just a little extra added information that's going to help you take it to the next level with your scoring. All right, so I've got 312 here. We'll see if we can hit a good shot and get into a good layup position here on this par 5. And it was not my best strike, but I think we advanced it far enough to get into decent position there. Now, a logical question I think a lot of folks will have is how waterproof is this device? Is it okay to actually have it attached to your belt or even on your cart when it's raining? Well, you'll have no problem because this one's rated IPX7. That rating would actually allow me to dip this in the lake up to a meter's worth of water and there won't be any ingress into this device. So have no fear. As always, Garmin really considers the build quality and the form factor of their devices, and the G20 is no different. Now, one thing that makes this device, I think, even better potentially than the Garmin G80. I don't think it's better in all ways, but I do think it's better in this way. The fact that you never have to charge this, as long as these solar cells can be getting a minimum amount of light. I think it's 75,000 of some unit that I cannot remember off the top of my head. RJ will put it on screen here for us, but as long as it's getting a minimum amount of sunlight, technically this battery is unlimited. So I charged it up to 100% when I first used it. I should probably, for the rest of my days using this device, as long as I'm using it on a consistent basis, never have to recharge it again. I think that is really cool, and it does maybe make up for the fact that this screen is not full color, because obviously a black and white screen is not necessarily going to suck as much juice. You know, an AMOLED screen on these watches, they're going to last a week or something like that on a charge. We won't have to worry about charging anyways. That's really fun. Now, by the way, if you're looking to purchase anything Garmin, you're going to get the best price over at my friends playbetter.com. In fact, if you're going to purchase anything in golf technology world, they've got the best prices on the internet. They've got the best customer service, free 48-hour shipping across the continental United States. They are all about the customer. This is a small family-owned business. It's not a big conglomerate. When you call them, you're gonna speak to someone in their office in Baltimore, my hometown. They are just the best in the business. So I will leave a link to the G20 down below. And again, you can explore their site for any golf technology you're looking for. All right, so I'm in decent position here. I've got 132 to the middle of this green, but again, I'm gonna set the distance here of where I think that flag is. I know it's on the left-hand side for sure. The last flag was a front flag. This one I think is gonna be back left. Now again, not being a touchscreen, you've got to cycle through all of the different options, but I think that's where it's at, which will be 139 for us. I'm gonna hit OK. And again, you can see now we've got an actual distance there in the middle of this. On the next hole, I'll actually pull out the Z30 and I'll show you how that pairing works, but let's hit a good shot here and hopefully get that stroke back we lost on the last hole. Decent lie here. I'm in the rough, but it's luckily not too thick. I've got pitching wedge in hand. I've got to carry that bunker. I kept it right at that bunker, which is great. We should be on the surface and we'll at least have a putt at it. It's gonna be a long putt, but at least we'll have a putt. Now, one thing that I won't be showing you live here today, but I think is a really fun feature here of this G20 is the fact that just like the watches that Garmin gives you, you can track all of your shots here on course and actually start to gather your stats. You do that by pairing the G20 with the CT10 sensors. Those are the little white sensors that you screw onto the top of your clubs, and just like they pair to the watch, they'll pair to the G20 and actually track every single shot. The device will recognize which club you've got in your hand, and it'll give you visual confirmation on the screen, and it's gonna track every shot. Now, the way it tracks the shots, by the way, just like the watch, when you take a swing and it registers that swing on the CT10 and sends that data to the G20, it knows, for instance, I hit 3-wood off this tee, then you go to your next shot, you hit it with that club, and it's going to know how far you hit your previous shot. So it's always kind of lagging one shot behind, but it's an ingenious way to measure every shot you take out on course. So the fact that you've got that as well with the G20, I think could be really, really appealing to folks that just don't like to wear a wrist watch. They feel like it gets in their way, that sort of thing. I do think in that particular use case, you may want to keep the G20 clipped to your belt, but you still could use it up here, you know, attached to the cart like we are here today. All right, let's see if we can make that putt. I'm testing some new putters today as well, so maybe we can make this one talk. This is kind of the test before the test. By the way, if you want to catch all the reviews we have here on Let's Play Through, make sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, it's actually a little better than I thought. We've got just maybe 20 feet or so, maybe a little further, 25 we'll call it, but we've got a chance to get that stroke back. It's a bumpy ride. Oh! All right, well, it's a par. So we've got one more hole to play, a little par 3. I'll show you a couple more features, and then I'm going to give you my pros and cons here of this device. All right, now a couple other features here that are just bonuses. Again, you've got your scorecard, which you can always go to. You've got your wind, which I've showed you. You have the solar status here, so you'll know exactly how much this is gaining and where that battery potential is at all times. So you can see I actually gained 10 minutes already this morning, and I've only been out here for 3 holes. So these solar cells are very, very good, and it's kind of an overcast day out here too. So I can't imagine in full sun here in Florida, I will never have to charge this one. Let's bounce back. And one other feature I think, which is really interesting, is the sunrise sunset feature. So again, if you're kind of planning out your golf trip, or you want to find out what time you can get to the course and actually see the light of day, which is me, I'm the first couple people out here every day, we'll hit the sunrise sunset, and you can see the sunrise here in Tampa today was 6:33, and 8:23 will be our sunset, and you can see where the twilight hours are too, so you can see if you can get the round in, you know, where you can actually get the last light up until 8:49, we should be able to see. So it's just a little thing, but it's handy, and again, you can actually scroll here through the calendar and get different days and see how that changes things. So really, I think a handy feature for golfers, and I think it's fun that they built this in. All right, so we got the scoring that again comes up for us when we get to the next tee box. It happens automatically. So this time I did get that par. I'm gonna go ahead and hit okay. All right, so our next hole here is a little further than this. In fact, I'm gonna take it with me. We should have probably about a 140 shot. Let's go find out. Now, just to verify that distance, because I'm seeing it approximately 142. I'm actually going to take the Z30 out here, and the actual number I'm getting at 145. Now on the device, if this is paired, you've actually got 145 right there on the device as well. That is so cool. All right, so it's 9-iron here for me, and that pin is tucked with that bunker on the left. So again, I'm going to kind of give myself a little more room right. Kind of aiming for the middle of the green. I think that's exactly what we've done. So we've got one more chance here to get that stroke back. We've got a birdie putt. It'll be, I'll call it 35 feet. Yeah. wasn't meant to be. We're not gonna hit the even par number, but that was a really fun round. All right, so again, it gives us a pop-up to tell us how we finished that one, and again, it was a par, so I'll hit okay. All right, so just to give you an idea of the G80, which was the older device, I love this. It's probably one of my favorite pieces of golf technology. And they haven't updated it. I hope someday they'll put an AMOLED screen on it, but you can see it side by side here with the G20. Now, again, this is gonna be a touch screen, whereas this one you're gonna have to use buttons. In terms of the feature set, there is a little bit more we can do with this device. We can measure shots from one point to another on the course. That's missing here in the G20. You've actually got a launch monitor built into this one as well, so you can actually get some basic numbers, club head speed, ball speed, smash, and tempo. You're not gonna get that at all. This is really just a GPS device. There's a few more features built into this one as well, like pin pointer. If you had blind shots, know which way the pin's directing. You got plays like distances. You actually have a simulator built into this, believe it or not, where you can play a very basic simulated round of golf with no putting, just another way to use it out on the range with the launch monitor. You're not gonna get any of that with the G20, but apart from that, if you're just looking for a GPS device, they'll both do that job very, very well. You've got, again, the ability to hook this up to a CT10 sensor and track shots on here. You don't have that on the G80, so there's definitely some differences. Would this replace my G80? I'm not sure. I do like having the touchscreen and the color screen here with the G80, but certainly this one's gonna be a more value-oriented product, and the fact that you don't have to charge it also in the G20's favor as well. So just wanted to show you the differences between these two devices. Really, they're both fantastic. I love everything Garmin makes. All right, so let's talk pros and cons here of the G20. Obviously, a big pro for me is the fact that you've got unlimited battery. You've got the IPX7 waterproof rating. I love the fact that it's got the connectivity to the CT10 sensors and the Z30 rangefinder, and Garmin has put this entire universe together to be compatible and to work in tandem. I love the form factor of this. I love the fact that you can just attach it to your cart or to your belt clip and really choose your adventure. That's fun. But there are some negatives to this one. I'd say first thing is, I think in today's day and age, I'd love to see a color screen. I can forgive, again, the fact that they're trying to get maximum battery life, and that's also going to be very readable as a black and white screen, but it would be nice to have color. I think I'd love to have a touch screen on this. That's one thing that I would probably miss from my Garmin G80. You can literally just tap the screen. With this one, you've got to use the buttons. So, you know, first world problems, certainly, but I think that would be nice. Apart from that, though, I really do think this is a really solid device at a price point that I think is very reasonable for the feature set it gives you at $299. A lot of Garmin devices can really be towards the premium top end. When you're buying a Garmin device, you know you're buying something I think is going to last you a long time, and I think people understand that. But I do think they probably priced this one basically in the sweet spot for what it can do. Now, if you're wanting to explore more of the Garmin universe, I think the next logical place is probably their watches. They do those better than anyone. So here's my video of the S50. Check that one out. This year's release, which I think was one of the best I've seen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe, and I'll catch you back next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.